into it or we will be into Dracula. Well, never mind. This little bird tells Siegfried that. And he tells Siegfried about Brunhilde on this fire-surrounded rock. So Siegfried goes and he somehow gets through this impenetrable fire and sees Brunhilde lying there and makes the classic understatement of all time. He says, "This is no man." I mean, have you seen the average Brunhilde? But you know, it isn't as stupid as it sounds, because he's never seen a woman in his life, so he doesn't know what she is. But he jolly soon finds out. And then they go in for some very competitive singing. Anything you can sing, I can sing louder. She wins. Then they fall passionately in love, and guess what Siegfried gives Brunhilde? That's right, the ring. They don't know each other that well yet. Oh, by the way, she's his aunt. But never mind, everybody's happy, so you'd think, wouldn't you, that that would be the end of the whole thing? You'd think. Part 4, Götterdämmerung. Well, in the beginning of Götterdämmerung, you get the 3 Norns, or Fates, and they are also daughters of my friend Erda, the green-faced torso, and by the same token also Siegfried's aunts. But this bunch of aunts are just as dismal as the Valkyrie aunts were noisy. You remember the Valkyrie aunts, don't you? Quiet, oh, well, this lot are just the opposite. Der Tag schon auf, hinab zum Motor, hinab. Well, if this dismal lot of aunts don't go and retell this entire story right over again from the beginning. That is, of course, in case you couldn't hear it the first time. As a matter of fact, you could miss out parts 1, 2, and 3 and go in at the beginning of Götterdämmerung, and you'd be just about as far ahead as anyone else is. Well, meanwhile, Siegfried is fed up with Love on the Rocks with Brunhilde. And Brunhilde's gone completely to pieces because, if you'll remember, she was the head girl of the Quiet a whole lot. Well, now she's changed to a girl like this. Dee, 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 dee. So love has certainly taken the ginger out of her. Well, then, Siegfried goes off on his travels once more, and he meets 3 people, the family Gibichung. There is Gunther and Gudrune Gibich, and their half-brother Hagen, whose mother was a Gibich, but whose father was Alberic the Dwarf. Do you remember Alberic? Well, Hagen greets Siegfried like this. Heil Siegfried, teure Held. Now, do you recognize that tune of Hagen's greeting? Anyone? Well, it's the same music as Alberic's curse. And And sure enough, there's dirty work afoot. Because Hagen gives Siegfried a magic potion which makes him forget all about Brunhilde and fall in love with Gutrune Gebitsch. Who, by the way, is the only woman that Siegfried has ever met in his entire life, who wasn't his aunt. You know, I'm not making this up. Well, when Brunhilde discovers what's going on, she's frightfully annoyed, and she conspires with Hagen that he shall kill Siegfried for revenge, which he does. Well, of course, as soon as Siegfried's dead, Brunhilde's sorry. So, excuse me, they build a funeral pyre, and they put Siegfried on it. Then Brunhilde goes and gets on her horse. She's got a horse. And they gallop onto the funeral pyre, too. So now you have Siegfried, Brunhilde, and the horse, and they light it, and that bunch burn up. That sets fire to Valhalla, and it burns up. Wotan and all the gods are inside, so they burn up. That sets the whole thing on fire, so everything burns up. The whole works is burnt. Well, the River Rhine, which possibly some of you may still recall, well, the River Rhine rises and the water's coming over all this burnt stuff, and who do you suppose turns up next? This one will kill you. The Rhine maidens. So they go scrabbling around in all these ashes, and they find the ring, which is, of course, their original magic gold, and they put it back on the rock in the Rhine where it came from. So after sitting through this whole long, involved rigmarole for 4 entire evenings, at those prices, all of a sudden, what do you hear? La 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 la. You're exactly where you came in 20 hours ago. And you know, recently I had a most horrible thought. You see, there is the ring, which is the original magic gold, back on the rock in the Rhine, where it came from, as I just said. Here are the Rhine maidens swimming around in the Rhine, and somewhere down there under the Rhine is Alberic. Do you know they could start this whole darn thing all over again?